One of the current internal administrators to the position of interim principal, why you did that search. There was no obvious need for this rush. In addition, you could have followed the example of Clayton High School once the place where Dr. Loses worked, when they asked her to resign, they appointed a assistant principal to be interim principal. It worked fine for them for the year. Why were those approaches not taken?
Well, what I will tell you is when the board deliberated on that, I mean, we discussed various options. We did not want to leave this school leaderless.
An interim principal is not leaderless.
We understand that, but what we will say is that our contracts with our administrators is for 1 year. So, so again, whether, you know, it's an interim, but our contracts with our administrators are for 1 year.
Okay, we have some additional questions. Many parents have experienced at other schools, as you've heard, both public and private, when replacing the most important person in a specialist school, at least regional, if not national searches are typically conducted. Are you planning to do a national search, therefore, in order to get a final person to be in that position? Since you do have time to do that this year.
Oh, good question.
It would reflect your devotion to the school to do so.
I will say right now, that's why we have our board members here. We are listening. We are listening. And so, this is not a stall. I
Stalker.
Oh, a stalker?
You gave us a stalker as a principal.
Oh. Yeah.
I want to actually speak. I'm not so sure that's a fair characterization.
If we may go on with the policy questions. Confluence Academy policy number 4130 and regulation number 4732 requires that administrators are notified by April 15th regarding the board's intention on reemployment. Did you issue a new contract to Lynn Glickert per these terms of these policies? If so, how can you claim to be not renewing her contract instead of firing her?
Well, again,
It's on.
okay, my answer is the same. The contract language superseded the policy, and the contract language was that prior to any decision on her contract for next year, we had to have all of her paperwork submitted for the evaluation of her staff.
But then why do you guys have then the policy if the contract supersedes everything in that?
I don't make up the rules. But that's the law.
We have some additional questions. GCAA charter specifically states persons hired for administrative positions need to be certified or have specialized training in one of the arts. CAA regulation number 4120 stipulates that the chief academic officer will ensure that those nominated for employment meet the requirements established for the particular position. Dr. Loses does not specifically appear to hold certification or specialized training in one of the arts. No policy or regulation gives the board or the CAO authority to change the requirement for any position. Please respond.
I'm sorry. Could you cite the policy number again?
First, policy number, CA regulation, Confluence Academy regulation number 4120 stipulates that the chief academic officer will ensure that those nominated for employment meet the requirements established for the particular position. Dr. Loses does not hold certification or specialized training in one of the arts. The GCAA charter specifically states the persons hired for administration positions need to be certified or have specialized training in one of the arts.
Well, I understand what you're saying. I think you're quoting the application that was submitted for the charter. The actual charter contract that was signed between the sponsor and the school does not state that. And I have to look at that today.
I can confirm with Modesi that they are exactly the same.
Well, I looked at both, I'm sorry, and I may be wrong, but I looked at both documents today and I didn't see that clause. I saw the one you're reading and I saw the one in the charter contract. I'll go back and look again.
It's there.
Okay, I'll look.
And so what do you intend to do
So
about
then
it?
what we
Is there-
Well, all I can do is, I'll look at it and see if I can confirm what you said, but that's, I looked at it today personally because I knew that question may come up. And I saw the document that this gentleman is reading, and that was in the application, and I read the actual charter contract word for word, and I didn't see that, but I promise you I'll look at it again, and then I will report my findings to the board.
There are two more comments in this area, or questions. Please confirm that Confluence Academy followed its policy number 4130 and has an opt-out clause in any contract entered into with Dr. Losas.
Honestly, I'm not really sure what opt-out clause, what you're talking about there. Well, you know, I'll be honest with you, I don't have every policy memorized, so I'll have to go back and look and see what you mean by opt-out clause. So I'll have to look at that.
Thank you. Perhaps you could email that to the parents after you find it.
I'll do that.
Along with the other contractual information. We have one more. We would like each board member individually to go on record as to 2 points. A, the approximate length of time that they have known either Dr. Losas or her mother, Carolyn Losas. And B, whether or not they considered recusing themselves from the vote to avoid conflict of interest.
So she was recommended via the Personnel Committee, that's Jennifer, she'll speak to that, and I did not think it was necessary I had to recuse myself for any reason.
How long have you known her?
I
Did
don't-
you know her?
I did not interview her, that we have a Personnel Committee.
That wasn't the question. The question was the
No,
approximate
I've
length of time you've
No,
known
I've
her.
not met her yet. That's also true for every principal we've hired, until we hired them. Okay, let them know.
Go ahead.
All right. To answer your question, no, I did not know or know Ms. Losos prior to the process that was started here.
Or her mother, Cheryl Lewis?
Nobody.
I'll speak a little bit to the process. I personally did not know Dr. Losas before she came to us as a candidate, nor did I know her mother. I did indeed ask some very difficult questions of her.
And how'd she get the job?
Okay, let them talk.
Yes, I know Mrs. Losses. I've known her for many, many years. She's had nothing to do with any of the decisions about her daughter.
Did you recuse yourself from the vote?
No, I did not recuse myself.
Why?
Well, that's a conflict of interest.
Yes.
Absolutely.
You said next to a lawyer.
The only conflict of interest would be if there was a business relationship with the district that related to her, or if it was a relative. And a relative, that's exactly the way every board operates in the schools. I can tell you that. That's the way it is. So, no individual board member would be asked to recuse themselves unless it was a relative.
I will say no and no.
I don't personally know Dr. Losos. I don't know her mother either.
I do know for a fact there are some board members who were excused absent, that they would answer that differently. Maybe we can get their records later.
We had 9 board members, and there were only 2 that were absent. And he was one of the
We're cut to 9.
Okay, my name is Erin Gonzalez, and I am a founding parent here at GCAA. My daughter started here in the 6th grade, and the reason we are here is because of Lynn Glicker, not because I think Lynn is perfect, because anyone in this room that knows me knows that I did not always agree with Lynn.
Absolutely.
You all know that, but I would sometimes win my battles, and she would win her battles too. But do I think that she had the best interest in heart for my child? Absolutely. Do I think my child's getting the best academic background that she can get? Absolutely, because we have fantastic teachers here that work hard to make sure that happens. And that was under the guidance of Lynn Glicker. So, saying that, I would like the students for 1 second, the students to just raise their hands that scored higher on their NWEA scores throughout the year. Every single one of you. So academics is not the issue at this school. Let me finish. It wasn't a question, it was a statement. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be rude, but it was a statement. Okay, I happen to work, as everybody here knows, in law enforcement. I'm not going to go where, but on the disclosure of my supervisor. But I feel that Dr. Lossos, after reading what happened with her at Clayton High School, after speaking with teachers from Clayton High School and parents from Clayton High School, that it is a huge disservice and a risk that you are putting our children in to bring her to this school. Thank you. If you want to give her a second chance, allow her to be on your board, allow her to work in another one of your schools that is academically behind, but not at this school, and not in a high school level environment, which is the very, very factor that she violated the trust of. My other point would be to ask you how many candidates were interviewed for this position. I know we can stand right behind each other. I don't bite. Trust me. I can keep myself calm.
Okay, we reviewed a file of candidates and we reviewed a file of candidates and we started our interview process with the board, with Dr. Lossos, and after the interview with them, she satisfied their desire for the candidate.
Wait a minute. I have a question to ask with that regard. If you say that you interviewed just Dr. Lossos, then how can you say that this person who, regardless of the ethics issue, has no arts background? You have to hire another person to help her with the arts in a school that is designed for arts students. It makes no sense that the budget is being used now to aid her with an additional person when we already had that. And if we didn't, we sure as heck could have found a better candidate than this person that you're bringing in. And you said that, Ms. Kovar, right? Am I correct? Okay. Was the committee for the personnel. Are you the only person on the committee? Okay, that's our question, is how many people are involved in that committee? And like I said, I still haven't had an answer on to how many candidates were looked at and how far you looked. Only one? I didn't.
No, they looked at
I heard that they said a file.
files, but they talked to one.
It's an inside job.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll try it one more time. We have filled 3 principal positions in the last 2 years. We have an extensive file of candidates. Would you like for me to answer, please?
I would. Thank you.
Okay. We have an extensive file of candidates that we've screened, that I've screened over the years, over the last 2 years back, and some very recently. We've reached out to some other people who have expressed an interest to come work with us that I've screened as recently as the last 2 or 3 months. So I had the list now that I could bring before the board anytime, but when we started with this one, I'll take responsibility for telling you that that Dr. Lawson's candidacy when it came to me, that I moved that forward to the board and presented her, and we started with that interview.
Why?
Did she come
Why?
to you?
Because
was that, sir?
we took that to the board because I recommended that they interview her, and they interviewed her, and they liked her. She satisfied their questions. They had the same concerns you have. They knew the Google thing was out there. They asked the questions. They got their answers that satisfied them, and
When
so
was
that's
that
why they
done,
had.
sir? Oh, sir, you can hold on to the microphone. I have more questions, I'm
Okay.
sorry. When was that done? When was it that you first started looking for a candidate to replace our principal?
Well, first time I talked to Dr. Lawson about working with us in any capacity was back in April. It wasn't about this position specifically, but back in April. That's when we talked to her.
And in all due respect, I understand she has excellent credentials on paper. I mean, it's an impressive resume. But again, it's no arts background, and given the ethics issue that's involved, not years ago, not with staff members, not with other personnel, not with parents, this is with students. Why was that person chosen overall?
All of those factors were considered by the board, and I don't want to answer for them, but they considered all of that, and they felt like, well, I won't speak for them, but obviously they felt like she satisfied their questions about the same questions you're asking.
What about the
Okay, I understand as a parent that our kids come first. What I don't understand is when we get into a position, we sort of forget about our children. Being here in Missouri for, I don't know how long, this is 2003 when I moved back up here, it's always been a thing of our kids are the last on our list. Now, I understand that all of you are volunteers. I understand that all of you are parents. I also understood that I did not hear not one of you say your child goes here.
Right.
So, my first thing is, when it comes to all the legalistic, all the confidential personnel things, all of the good things on paper, all of those things, did you ever consider, when you first started this school, when you first had it in your womb to start an art school for our children, you had to have thought about long-term. Where would that come? In the event that you did have a disagreement with the principal that you hired. So now, in your email, you stated second chances. You believe in second chances. So if there was just one disagreement between you and Mrs. Glickard, doesn't she deserve a second chance? You guys, hold on, you guys, you only got a little bit of time. My thing is, you all knew for the first 3 years of this school, it was going to be hard to get it up and going. You knew that you would have to have parental involvement in order to make it successful. You knew that you would not be able to do it on your own. You knew from the past 3 years you had not done it on your own. But yet this decision was made. Now, I don't know Ms. Losis from Eve. But I know when we have a thing of just being a parent, when somebody violates that trust with your child, there is no second chance. Because when you violate and I'm not putting my child in danger, there's nothing about going along and saying, oh, well, maybe there is a second chance. There's many people in my past that have violated the trust, haven't even gotten to my child, but they will not get a second chance to even get that a second thought. So you all put the responsibility upon yourselves. Yes, you do have board meetings at your Confluence school, but this is an art school. You can't run an art school like a school that you have for strictly academics, speaking foreign languages. You all got Ms. Glickard, had her televised on the news. She's all over the internet because she was one of the founding things that had people coming in. She has a background in music. She understands the art. She understands the artistic impressions of our students. She understood the fact that you can't just put artistic students in uniforms. You can't put them in a regular environment and expect them to excel in who they are. That was the reason why you chose Ms. Glickard in the beginning. So now because of one mislocation, one miscommunication, or one disagreement, you want to throw her out with the water. That's not right. So, I do take offense that because you knew Ms. Losos personally, because you decided that her paperwork looked well, because all of you didn't know her, you just thought, okay, well, she has this, this, and this. It doesn't matter. Even with interviewing people to come work for anybody, you don't just look at their paperwork. You look at how they answer your questions. You look at their body language. You look at their clothes. You look at their background. You look at their hairstyle. You look at if they're chewing gum when they come and sit in your chair. You look at all of those things. So just because Ms. Losos made one mistake of violating Clayton High School and won whatever lawsuit does not mean that she is still worthy of being able to be back around children. Even the state of Missouri has enough sense to know that when you are a violation of a child, that you have to go through scrutiny in order to even get back into right standing with them. There is no other thing. Even with the people of Prodigy, they take the children out. You all have not even considered our urban children, whether black, white, Hispanic, Chinese, or anything. You took it upon yourselves to just think and make this decision over hundreds of people's lives. That doesn't go lightly with any parent. It wouldn't go lightly with you if we came to your school and made the decision. So there is no thing about just being telling us, you made this decision and you should be okay with it. She made a statement in the beginning that said this is permanent. So you pretty much told us from the start, we don't care what you say. This has already been done and there's no change to it. Every last one of us took our kids out of this school and then had you look at school and say, well, we don't know what happened. We chose the lady who has a questionable background and all of a sudden all the parents took their kids out. Where are you going to go then? So all of you who look out the window, all you have to do, if you said her contract is not up until July 1st, you still have an opportunity to rescind your firing or non-renewing of contract to bring her back. She has the children's heart, she had their mind, she had their prosperity, and all of that in her heart. This whole environment was different. And believe me, I've looked at my share of schools, just like the other parents, from private to parochial to public to go and send her out somewhere else. I decided because my child, exactly, homeschool, I decided because this was the place from the time that we walked through those doors and how inviting and how comforting Mrs. Blickard was. She was the second person I met, the first person that made a lasting impression on me. The whole reason why I brought my child to this school, because she loved her. I met principal after principal, and I've never met one person like Ms. Blickard. I'm not speaking because I know her personally, I'm speaking because she proved herself. From this first year that I brought my child to this school. Now, you all are falling right under the whole thing of Missouri. You all want to do dictatorships, you want to keep the city's kids suppressed, you want to think that this whole thing is going to work. That's not it. Now, while your children are nicely in college or out somewhere in whatever county school, this is not your kids that you're making decisions for. But you should have that in heart. That you as a parent first, then as a board member, and then as somebody that's under legalistics should have made that decision. I don't want you to answer because I know it's still going to be something that's for paper. I just want you to take that into consideration because I'm going to tell you now, as all my family and friends or whoever I know that's here, if Dr. Losos is going to be principal next year, I'm going to urge them to move their kids. And then you're going to see what you do.
Thank you very much, guys. Our time is very limited. I appreciate your responses, but our time is very limited. We need to go very quickly, okay?
Okay. My question is not about any of the politics at all. I want to know why this is about trust. If you're in this building and you trusted Miss Glicker, raise your hand now. Thank you.
You did, or you
So,
were hired?
You hired her, she's wrong, she should be fired.
we are coming, us students, this is on behalf of the students mostly, we are coming into this experience with Dr. Losos with an untrusting air. It will not be a pleasant environment for anybody, Ms. Losos, the students, or the parents, because we know her background, having violated that privacy of students. What she did was not acceptable in any respects of any way. We are going to be coming into this without trust, without anything. Why take away somebody who we trusted, who we enjoyed being around, who we didn't have to worry if they were going to intrude on our private lives. Somebody that we love, exactly. Thank you. There is no reason for us coming in to trust or love Dr. Losos at all.
Hi. I just really have a comment, and I don't know how many parents I'm actually going to speak for. I'm not a highly educated woman. I don't own my own business. I work very hard for every penny. I work very hard for every paycheck. I chose to bring my child to this school because she wants to be a dancer. We drive from Eureka. That should tell you right there, I come from a very well-educated school. Education means nothing if she can't even fill her schedule because there are no classes for her. She does history, she does language arts, that would be it. There is nothing else there for her. She comes here, she dances every single day. That's what she wants to do. She doesn't want to go to Wash U, she doesn't want to go to SLU, she wants to be a dancer. And if we get the opportunity to send her to LA or to New York, that's where she's going. If after she takes her time dancing and she wants to pursue her education at that point, that's what she's going to do. She wants to be a dancer. She doesn't want to learn any more about the music. She doesn't want to learn any more about drawing. She doesn't want to do musical theater. Oh, good Lord, don't let her put her in musical theater. She wants to dance. I am very, very disappointed that there was nothing told to us, that there was any, whatever the letter said. Whatever it is, whatever is out there, what has been talked about for the last couple of hours. I don't understand the difference in what you guys are saying the vision is, what our parents are saying our vision is. All I know is my daughter wants to come to school and she wants to dance. And as far as I know, GCAA right now is the only school that's going to give that to her. She can get education at home. She will go back down to being a C&D student because she hates it. She wants to dance. She is one of your ambassadors. She is striving to be an A+ student. And she's one of your ones that needs assistance because she does need some help with her education. I can take her back to Rockwood if you want. I don't want that. Thank you very
much. My name is Nick Bates. I'm an 8th grader, or will be 9th grader, and I think I'm saying with a lot of students, we didn't know who she was. We Googled her, and the top result was her posing as a student, willingly, disguising her identity as a student and friending them. And we're having trust issues with this, and you want to put her in the care of students. I mean, the falsifying identity on Facebook, that sounds like the beginning of How to Catch a Predator. So we are very, very aggravated and trying. I really don't know what to say because I'm so angry at this decision, but a lot of us are angry and we want to know why this person, why couldn't you pick someone with an art background, but why did you think that this person who should have been a candidate for How to Catch a Predator in the hands of students, 6th graders and 10th graders? Please explain that.
Did you guys have an answer?
I think at this point, maybe we can get...
You got it, just a minute.
My name is Kathleen Spillers. I'm a parent of Celine Davis and Shelby Davis. Celine attended this year and I pulled Shelby. But Celine went from being a D and F student in math to an AD student. She's 14 in 8th grade. She's never accomplished that. In our journey here, My girls are very busy. And Miss Glicker took my daughter under her wing and said, hey, we're gonna monitor you to get you where you're going. I think the most devastating thing here is that the carpet's just been pulled from under our feet. And it is unfair. It's unfair to the parents, it's unfair to the children. Even, I always want to remind the children to stay respectful. You will go a long way. But there's somebody else that we haven't talked about tonight that's a little disturbing to me also. And that's Ms. Cross. Ms. Cross has been here also from the beginning. And I'm a parent, my kids came here at 6th grade. And man, it was a roller coaster here. I wanted to leave and go to New York. But my girls formed a relationship with these students. And I'm a parent of older kids. And I should have been an Army parent, go from school to school to school. But my girls got to stay stable for 3 years. Shit. But that's okay. And you guys have to understand the impact. And there's nothing wrong with correcting it.
Hi, my name is Dr. Katie Belisle-Ifrig, and the words that you heard at the very beginning of this meeting were mine. I want to dearly thank you for your vision, and I think we should all thank you for the vision that you've had for Grand Center. We really appreciate it. I just want to further say, you must be really gratified to look around the room and see the school that you've created. You've created one of the most successful charter schools in the city of St. Louis. Look at this school. In the state. In the state. And you made an excellent decision in your choice of Lynn Glickert to bring this school to fruition. She took this ragtag group and many other parents that have to work and could not be here tonight, and she created community. Amen. We are community. We are a community that is not afraid. We are very well educated for the most part. We are not afraid. We have done our homework. So the big thing that I really want you to answer for me is, my daughters came here and they have been transformed. I want you to tell me that it is okay for me to take them out and halt that process that has been so beautiful. Could you tell me that that's okay?
No.
The answer is obviously no. We are very willing to sit down and talk. We are very willing. Obviously we are. We have great appreciation for what you have done. You're not the enemy. We are all the same. We all want the best. And we have created that. And Lynn has been the driver of that. She has taken your vision. She has done you proud. And you should thank her for that, and you should reconsider renewing her contract.
So I have some more people who want to speak, but I do have a question. I've been asked to ask you all if you have ever seen this level of energy and commitment in parents and board in any school in your life.
Only in the movies.
And how does that make you feel?
It's great. It's fantastic. I mean, look, your energy is fantastic. No question about it. I felt that energy at other schools might be no denying that you're going to do fantastic. There's no denying you guys are fantastic. No denying. Thank you. Thank you, right?
Thanks. Okay. Try turn. And then we'll go on. Guys, second.
Okay. Hi, my name is Taylor Cooper. I'm Ashley. Okay, we were the first 2 students enrolled at Grand Center Arts Academy. Okay, and I just wanted to ask you, why did you choose our new principal? Why did you give her a second chance when there are a million other teachers out here looking for a first chance?
Exactly.
Millions of teachers that aren't working that would love to work for us, And Miss Glickert is one of the best principals I have ever had in my entire life. And you guys are ripping her away from us.
I just want to point out that Miss Glickert knew me. My principal actually knew me. She knew every single one of the students here's name and what they like. She took the time to get to know each of us personally. And, well, I have a really short, fast story that I just remembered. When I was starting this school for the very first year, because we were the first general, I got lost. I didn't know where I was in the school. We were in 3rd Baptist, and I had no idea. I was actually, I'll admit, I was crying in the hallways. I had no idea where I was. And I got lost in the church. And I saw Miss Glickert in the hallway, and she was like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "I don't know where I am. I'm late." And she said, "Well, come to the office. We'll find your way. We'll get your schedule." And that just really stuck with me, and I'll always remember that. So.
Hello, you started your meeting by saying that you have made up your mind it's a permanent decision.
Yep.
I am asking you, will you reconsider your decision?
Answer.
Well, I will say that in hearing everyone's comments, there's sort of 2 issues. So there's one, whether Lynn comes back, and then there's the other issue, whether the new principal that's hired. With respect to Lynn coming back, this notion that there was, one strike, you're out, that's not applicable here. And again, I apologize, we can't bring out the whole story. Perhaps with Lynn's cooperation, we can share what's appropriate and what's legal. But that's issue 1. The other issue is, the process of a new principal, right? And I think, like Sonia said, we're here to listen, and we've heard a lot. And so we need to take all that in. I don't think it's fair for any of us, in the absence of a conversation between each other, to say, we're going to do this. And so you guys have been extremely respectful, and all I would ask is allow us to talk to each other, because none of us are in a position to make anything that's committal, right now, in absence of a meeting. I will say that the fact that you're extremely unified, and I guess you're the point person, and I love how you're managing the process. And it's helpful to us that you're a person that we can work with, and perhaps with a couple others, in that, because obviously we can't do this with a group this big, but we should definitely continue. Obviously, we want to keep the discussion going. The wonderful culture here that everyone's talked about. Obviously, no one on this board. We're just volunteers trying to do the right thing. Honestly, part of what Sonia was saying, part of our effort was we wanted to have what we thought was a quality leader to step into Lynn's shoes. We've heard a lot of pushback and blowback on that issue tonight. And I know, for one, it's had an impact on me.
Good.
And I don't... But understand, I've been around since 2003, and I was a part of hiring Lynn, and I was part of defending Lynn, and I know there's just a lot of history here that not everyone's a part of. And it's just in my mind, there's 2 separate issues. And I love, and this is the energy here is just so exciting, and none of us on this board want to screw that up. I mean, we really don't. At the end of the day, you're customers, right? So
Yes.
this charter school exists because you are parents and you're customers, and the customers came, and we had to design a product that makes people want to come here. So we're not stupid. And so just give us a chance to, but we can't, it's hard for us to commit to anything in the absence of us talking to each other.
Here's what I would like to ask for. A, some of us would like to be included, a small group, in a further conversation. We would like a date, a time, a deadline, I'm sorry. A date, time, I mean, a deadline with it. We don't want this to go on indefinitely, and we are holding a meeting.
No, we can't. We don't have, yeah, no one has
We are
time.
holding a meeting immediately following this meeting, and where we are going to make some very serious votes about our next course of action. And so what we hear from you guys in summary is what you want the next course of action to be is going to depend, is going to make a huge difference in how we vote our next course of action should be. Does that make sense? So, again, I hear that you're willing to talk and you guys are willing to listen and you're willing to try to work with us, and I really appreciate that. But I would like to, again, ask if we could put that in some sort of context of time.
As soon as possible. I mean, I'm around all week, so we don't know our schedules,
And
but.
like I said, we want to have, I'm sorry,
I would just first, I just want to, again, just say that this is really great. I think you're just having this kind of an open conversation. All of our board members, we're sitting here, we're listening. We've been listening very attentively. I think there are two issues, and one is Link Liquor, and the other is Dr. Lawson's.
You are 100%
And, yeah, and so what I'm going to say is that, again, as you can see, we all care about this school. And I think that I can't speak on behalf of my board, but we will get together and we will get back. This is what, Tuesday? As soon as we can. So again,
I was before the next parent.
I would say by as soon as
when
you
is the
can.
next parent?
It is next Monday, June 10th.
Okay. Yeah, I need to call a
And I don't know
So
if you guys
anyway,
can
we
have
know
an open
when,
meeting.
we got a timeline of when you're meeting.
Together.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but I guess the good news is that
We can work offline
yeah.
with that.
Yeah.
I just want, because again, we're going immediately from here into a PA session where we are voting on a number of motions. And the way that goes is going to depend on kind of
If
what
you
we
want to sit down and talk to us, we're all happy to sit down with a small group and talk, as long as we can get the proper notice out and all the rest of that. Everyone here's happy.
Well, and I for one, would want to have a meeting amongst ourselves immediately. I mean, as soon as possible for us to share, collectively talk to each other. And then I would think right after that, we would talk to you.
Can I see you before we leave so I can get your information? Thank you very much. I just want to say, I do appreciate your willingness to hear us out. I appreciate that. I really feel as though we've listened and maybe some of you think they might have a point on a few issues. We have done our homework. We have had an emergency meeting on Saturday. We have had groups researching legal thing. I mean, you have no idea the quantity of email that gone through my box since we found out last Friday morning. This is devastating for this community, and I commend you and I applaud you and I thank you for listening and being willing to try to work with us on this.
I know we've gone over time, and board members.
Thank you for letting us go.
Yeah, so I really, because this is important, and we really like this dialogue, and I think going forward, we can have a process where, a few of our board members, and we have done that at a few of our other schools, and so we just thank you. You know, we thank you for the energy, we thank you for being excited about the school, about the mission and the vision. And you know what, I will let you know that our board, we're extremely excited about where Grand Center Arts is going. I mean, it's got a truly fabulous future, and it's going to be important that we work together as a team. All right, and I want to say that again. I want to say that again. It's not just the board, it's going to take all of us as a team to work together. And so I will tell you that our board, again, we are open and we're willing to work, and we have listened. But again, like I said, we do need to convene, and we're gonna get back, and we're gonna get all this done within before your next hearing. We're gonna try to make that happen. Okay? Yeah.
I just want to acknowledge how much I appreciate the students here tonight. I think you all did a great job. Thanks, guys. You are very respectful.
Let me tell you how much I appreciate students. Last year, I did get an award from Vince Shingle as far as the visionary who really has done something for this area. All of the people who got awards gave speeches. What I did was, here is what I think and feel, and two of your students, for about 2 minutes, played for this large audience. I did not talk, I did not need to talk. And that is how much you all mean to me and all of us here.
That is an amazing story. Thank you for sharing that.
Still in session, I take a motion so that we can go ahead and close this adjourn. Okay, the proper motion that we adjourn this meeting. Again, thank you for your attendance and for being here.
Parents,